Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon, Flat Earth, Homeland, Ozark Plateau, Remnant, Relocation, Refugee Association, Headquarters. Okay, I'm serious about that. I mean, I started talking about, it's in my book, read it, one of the section titles. Of course, you can't find a copy of the book. Well, sorry. Drive Now or Walk Later is the title of one of the sections. The gal that broke it down, you know, my wife was a midwife. This couple had her do a birth. They didn't pay her anything. And months later, the gal says, well, I can do websites. And I'm like, well, that's good timing. Do me a website, an $800 website. So anyway, Drive Now or Walk Later. When I started saying that, I knew it sounded crazy. It sounded crazy to me. It don't sound crazy now. People are going to be walking. They are walking. They are on foot. They have no home. They have no car. They have a bicycle. Bicycles don't last forever if you don't take good care of them. So that's the point. Get things now that you can't get later. And that's one of the subjects I want to deal with. The explanation for the goofy do-rag, whatever, the different one. I just wanted something different. So I have a different shirt and a different do-rag. Put on different hats, you know. Got my, you know, when you see me wearing that, that's my lights out hat. This is my theology hat until Shannon said he's got some hats that will fit me. And, yeah, I could have put a stocking hat on, but it's not cold out, so deal with it. I got something really heavy to share. And to do that, I got to read a letter from a subscriber, and I'll get to that. I think what I want to do right now, though, is something else that's really, really important. And I was talking about buy things now that, you know, you're not going to be able to get later. And I used one example was, you know, things like this. Salt pipe. That's a salt shaker, 75 cents. Get 2 cases of 96 of them for $72. That's 96 people that you can keep alive in the event of a pandemic. Respiratory transmitted disease or bacterial, any kind of bronchial infection, sore throat, anything. Cure it right now. Cheap. I can't tell you how cheap, really cheap, you know, now. Impossible to get later. You take the tube out. You can see the tube in there. You know, take that out so when you turn it upside down, it squirts. If I do it right now, it's, other than what was in it, the tube, you know, I can do this all day long. It's not going to squirt anything. So, now for a cat, like an ornery cat, like baby, yeah. When Jersey gets here, she's got this really different cat. When she's sick, she was sick for 4 months or something, 4 weeks or 4 months. He never left her side. He stayed there and purred the whole time. Cats are very healing. One gal that's coming here, Melody, does healing cats. I mean, they're therapy cats. I mean, like, this stuff is like boom, boom, boom. You know, this place was an animal refuge, you know. St. Francis statue, and I've told that before, it's just phenomenal. Jersey's, you know, St. Francis has been Jersey's patron saint for 40 years. Animal refuge. Shannon, Stone Kingdom of Yahweh shows up. Guess what? Shasta's refuge. You know, Shasta's, you know, that's his. It's still up there. I'll grab it next video. But you know, animal refuge. Sister Sue from Cali, horses, animal refuge. You know, she makes it out here, but she's already got a trailer out here somewhere down in, you know, it's Arkansas. Margot, New York, horse whisperer. Is there a message here? Somebody pointed out, I think it was Sister Sue. She said, you're kind of like Noah, you know, your farm's going to kind of like be a Noah's Ark. And I'm like, well, yeah, sure, you know. She goes, Noah was an animal rescue. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah! The animal rescue. So anyway, things you can get now you can't get later. Now, I showed one example, those cheap examples. You know, this is not quite so cheap, but it's, you know, it's something that the workmanship and, you know, quality that you'll never gonna see again. This one is even nicer in most ways than the other one I showed you because it has, you can see the, okay, flashlight. Hang on. on the floor. Pick it up. The pommel is what you call the thing there, the deal. Okay. See that? The other swords are not like that, but this one is just, that's exquisite. That's Damascus steel. It's got, you know, who knows? It could be 50, it could be 100, it could be 1,000, it could be 10,000. It could be 1,000,000 layers of steel folded over. It's not, doesn't take that long to do it with the stuff they got to do it with the machinery. Beautiful work. They're just works of art, if nothing else, but they're also a weapon, you know. Yes, it's a weapon. So, one guy wrote old-timer knives, you know. He said, well, I haven't watched movies in years, but I want to watch Crocodile Dundee now, you know. Like, that's not a knife, mate. And he had it like in a back, you know, up his back sling. Now let's see, it was over his back. I got to be careful because this thing is sharp, you know. However that was in a movie, the guy pulls a knife on him in the subway, and he's like, that's not a knife, mate. Yeah, it was under the back, that's right. You know, anyway, he whips out that big old Bowie knife, you know. This is a knife, mate, you know. So, anyway, beautiful workmanship. Oh, that's good. That's good. Look at that. Just stunningly gorgeous. I mean, we got these, and I'll tell you, I spent like an hour and a half taking pictures of them, like at that angle. Ow. This Frodo angle. Frodo sticking it up to Sam's face at the little Osgiliath. Yeah, where the Nazgul almost got him. You know, I mean, I took probably 100 pictures of him. You know, I said, how many, it's funny, you can get knives that you just want to take pictures of because they're so beautiful, you know. So anyway, relatively cheap. Not just relatively cheap, you know, cheap compared to, you know, the fact that I was amazed that they were even real, you know, that they were Damascus steel. You know. Okay, so now to the main thing I wanted to talk about today, though, because this is very important. I got bit by a dog. Oh, hell. Oh, since it's not quite so ugly. All right, let's see here. Get the foot up. Okay, I can't. I kind of have to look at the screen and focus on. Okay, there. Okay, there it is. So that's just to show you, sisters that were worried about me, that I did take care of it, and I didn't take care of it, but well, I sort of took care of it. I don't never really worry about things like that too much. Dog bite, nail puncture, knife cut, you know, you just clean it up and go on. Been dealing with that shit for, you know, since I left Denver, no, my whole life. And the reason, colloidal silver, very cheap, learned how to make it. I sent out an email about the salt pipe thing, you know, get these, okay, and the guy says, table salt is no good, and I'm like, well, yeah, well, you're preaching to the choir. Now, I didn't have to tell anybody not to use salt pipe, not to use table salt, you know, deal with sea salt, pink Himalayan salt, gray Celtic salt, Portuguese salt, you know, Sea Cortez salt, whatever. So that's a given. Salt is life. Now here's a real kicker, and I had this all set up, and I did it on the tablet, and I cannot get that DU to work, DU recorder. But get this. Ye are the salt of the earth. This is just weird, and I'm not reading anything into it. I'm just saying it's interesting that Messiah used the word salt and then the word earth. Salt is negative electrically. Salt helps mixed in water or put it in the soil. You can take Epsom salts, and they say just, you know, mix it up and pour it on your ground. It will increase your ground. Salt increases conductivity. Epsom salt is great. It's also great for the grass. So is regular salt, table salt. I mean, sea salt. One guy lived down in the Gulf, Louisiana, his whole life. And he said every time, wherever the hurricane hit, wherever the waters were the deepest and stayed there the longest, took the longest to evaporate and recede, that's where they always got their watermelons and their pumpkins, and pumpkins the size of a pickup bed truck. That's where they always got their best vegetables. So he said this. He says you can never, ever put too much sea salt on the soil to grow crops. And the guy that brainstormed all this, Dr. Maynard Murray, I believe, still has. There's a farm called Seaponics in Florida, and some guy in Nebraska bought it, and he was going to run both, and then he gave up. He said, it ain't worth running back and forth, the expense and the hassle and worrying about this. So he just canned the Nebraska farm and took over the Seaponics farm. They grow vegetables in seawater. Okay, so you're going to kill your soil. This guy started at 400 pounds per acre salt and worked up to 1,500 pounds of salt per acre. 1,500 pounds of salt per acre. And that was where he got his best production, so go figure. The first load he brought into Nebraska back in 1949, get this, muddy roads, no pavement, no nothing. The truck shows up, and guess who's driving? Or I'll say, guess which sex is driving? A woman driver. The only one could do it. I love it. That was pretty cool. So anyway, things you can get now. You can get sea salt now cheap. Can't get it. We'll be ooze grade, eBay, Orphe, Onglay, whatever, before long. Okay, now, salt, oxygen, there's ways to purify it, make oxygen, collect oxygen, isolate oxygen. Your concentrators, you've seen them, hospitals have them. You know what they use in there to separate the oxygen, to let the oxygen pass through and other stuff not pass through? You want to know? So you get yourself a pump, an aquarium pump, an oilless compressor pump to pump water or air through whatever chamber. These are just little teeny little packets like this, little chamber like that. So whatever you're paying for them little oxygen concentrators, you used to be able to get them on eBay for $50, $75. Now they don't sell them at all. You used to be able to get hyperbaric oxygen chambers on eBay, inflatable ones. Now you can't get them at all. So things are drying up. Little tiny packet of something called zeolite. You put water through zeolite, you get pure water out. You put alcohol through it, your alcohol is 20 higher proof. Can you say Everclear? Don't ever drink that stuff fast. It will knock you on your butt faster than anything on earth. A friend of mine got married and he goes, here, we're celebrating, gave me a little teeny glass. He goes, drink it really slow, just sip it. I just had an argument with the wife. Slammed it down. You, sir. I mean, this is like 15 seconds later. I'm like totally plastered. You, sir, are an asshole for not telling me about this stuff sooner. I felt really good. And no hangover. It's so pure that there's no hangover whatsoever. So you can do that. You can make your alcohol higher proof. But if you put air through it, ambient air, whatever you breathe, pump air through it, the only thing that comes out is oxygen. And that little expensive packet of stuff they sell you and that little really expensive machine that they sell you is nothing but an oilless compressor and a chamber, little tiny chamber with, can you tell me what it is? Kitty litter. Zeolite. It's called zeolite. That's a really expensive name. It's a real special mineral. 95% of all zeolite on the planet is kitty litter. It's whitish, it's bigger, it's lighter than bentonite. Clay is also used as kitty litter. If you get a bag that's flat and really hard, and you get the stuff out and it's gray and it's flat, and when you mix it up, it's really slimy, that's because the little tiny particles of it are exactly that. They're like little plates, and when they get wet, they're really slippery, slimy like clay is. That's why clay is so slimy. But this is negative, and the edges are positive. It's like a credit card. This is negative. This is positive. Keep it in a glass bottle because it'll suck in anything. Same thing with activated charcoal. The big surface is negative. The little edges are positive. Zeolite, same thing. Honeycombed. It's actually a hexagonal cone. It looks like a beehive honeycomb. The big flat surfaces are negative charge. The small edges are positive. So, They're all three of those are very, very powerful, but zeolite will prevent oxygen from going through. It'll let oxygen through and not everything else. I would imagine that activated charcoal would do the exact same thing. Interesting. How do you make activated charcoal? Get charcoal out of fire, preferably oak, and I like to, this is what I like to do, put it in a steel bucket, a steel container of some kind, and then slowly pour water on it, because as the water hits it, and the smaller the pieces, the better. As the water hits it, it'll steam, and steam will, that's what bores the holes in it. Activated charcoal is charcoal, little tiny fragments of charcoal with holes drilled through it. Well, steam will do that. Oxygen will too, but you'd probably be looking at a hell of a chance of explosion or a really good fire. I don't know. Anyway, that'll do it. So, things you can get now you cannot get later because of the dog bite. Somewhere I have this, and somewhere I have that, and somewhere I have the other thing. I don't know where. I have a homeopathic kit that my wife made for me back when. Actually, after she threw me out. So it was pretty cool. It's really a blessing, you know. Anyway, I don't know where it's at. So, Jersey got this basic homeopathic kit. Now, the one I had probably had about the same number or fewer. I think it had about 30 remedies. This has 36. Okay. Ledum is in here. You open this up. Now, this is a really nice kit. I mean, I really, really like this kit. But there's a better way to do it even yet that's even more compact. Where this is using up, of course, this would be really good for, like, durable, because everything in there is, you know, there's foam in between every single one. See? Blue foam, blue lettering. I like blue. Get some. Let me shed some light on it. Subject. Okay. And I can hold it like that. Can't do that with the kits we do. I don't know if you can see the very clear blue. I'm going to tone this down a bit. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Blue lettering. Very clear. The pellets are huge, but that's okay. Deal with that later. So, Ledum is for puncture wounds. Now, one story about Ledum is that a young boy in a farm was mucking the barn out. He'd been using the pitchfork, you know, long, real sharp, narrow tines. And he had left it in the haystack, hayloft, the haystack. He was up above in the hayloft, maybe putting hay down for the animals. And like kids do, he jumped off. And unfortunately, the tine, one of the tines went here and the other one came right alongside. But it went right in alongside his eye, between, you know, the skull and the eye. And quite deep. Classic tetanus situation. Poop, rust, I mean, any kind of contamination. Well, he took Ledum, no problem. Had no problem whatsoever. He healed very fast. So the another thing I like about this is that is phenomenal. It's got the remedies listed on the back, alphabetical order. That is really cool. Yeah. Aconite. These are 30C remedies, which is okay. So another, and I'm just gonna, one more story about homeopathy is, you take this is something some people are aware of and some people like to be ready for, and that is pandemics of various kinds. One of the most famous is Ebola, Zaire. Well, what homeopathics does is like cures like. If you have malaria, you take quinine. Quinine, if you drink a lot of quinine, it gives you malaria-like symptoms, like cures like. It's kind of like the same idea as vaccinations, you know, but not. And I haven't gone back into it. I mentioned Louis Pasteur and like how he was like the Einstein of the medical world, complete asshole, complete, you know, profligate, complete moron, complete, you know, basically a worthless human being, individual that just stole other people's work, copied other people's work, imitated other people, didn't really do anything original on his own in his entire life, and opposed the real truth, absolutely. So, did not believe in pleomorphism, which is fact, you know. In other words, a virus grows, it becomes bacteria, bacteria becomes a parasite, parasite blows up and becomes 5 billion viruses. You can see it under the microscope every day of your life. So, anyway, another story, another day. So, homeopathy, though, you can take, if you have one of those pills in that vial, or you can do it with a frequency, with a machine, but you can take one of those pills, fill the vial with pills, and then what they call succuss it 100 times, and you've got another bottle of remedy. So, the Ebola Zaire question, I could name most of them. Lachesis, Crotalus horridus, Crotalus horridus, Bothrops, and then, for whatever reason, phosphorus. But the other three that I named, Latin names, genus, and species of an animal. The animal is, all three others are snakes. The rattlesnake, the Lachesis, which is a South American snake, and Bothrops, which is, I can't remember which one it is. Crotalus horridus is a rattlesnake. So rattlesnake, whatever, king snake, whatever, I don't know. And Lachesis, which is a snake in South America. Well, one of the progenitors, the leaders of the homeopathic movement, went to South America to get one of those snakes. And he told the natives, he hired them, he says, don't beat it, don't excite it, just catch it for me. Well, you know, if you catch it and you take 3 steps and you die, the guys had maybe a little bit of adrenaline flowing trying to get it, and they kind of beat it up a little bit, and it got venom all over itself, and they splattered it everywhere. So as he was handling it, he got it on his skin, and he started dying. And he very excitedly told his wife, you know, write everything down that happens to me, you know, you call it proving the remedy. She had to get the symptoms down, because from those symptoms, they would then match him with other remedies. But they made a remedy from the poison fangs of that snake. That snake, to this day, supposedly, is in the Smithsonian, a Smithsonian. There's millions of them where they put all the aliens and all the Nephilim and, you know, giants and all the stuff they don't want us to know about. Anyway, but that snake is in formaldehyde in the a Smithsonian Institute, okay? Maybe the one in Washington, D.C., who knows, instead of one of their warehouses. And every single remedy around this entire world, this flat earth, from that day to this, has been made from that snake. Fact. So nobody's ever gotten caught another one. Nobody has ever gone and caught another one and made a remedy from it. So you can take these little bottles and you can have one pellet left, or a little bit of powder of it left, and you can make remedies from it. And I'll just take an example. And you might be able to read that, you might not, but lead them, okay? And the size of the pellets, those are really, really big pellets. We like to use smaller ones, but the vials are the right size. These bottles, that vial, which is a half dram, will fit in a 45 long Colt 44 mag reloading box, and you can get 100 of them in a box just about that wide, square, okay? From here to here, square, instead of, you know, that big. So here's 36 remedies. A box just a little bit bigger than this will hold 100 remedies. I ain't knocking this box. I really like it. I really like it. But I would definitely go to the smaller pellets. So my point is, you know, on Amazon you can get this with a booklet, with a book. 24 minutes, I want to watch it here. So what we talked about it, and what Jersey got was, like, they had a $99 deal, you know. So there's 3 salves. Rus tox, which is poison ivy, and Ruta, which is for contusions, bruises, whatever. Hypericum and calendula for bee stings and whatnot. Urtical. Clueless. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't put Arnica montana. Arnica montana is the quintessential, you bang your head, you fix it remedy. Contusions, anything. Aconite is called arnica of the eye. That's in that thing there. It's for shock, for you know, panic, for traumatic situations. But a friend of mine, he was loading the cow, and the cow was recalcitrant. It was an ornery. He's behind it, trying to push it. His daughter's got the cattle prod outside the chute, and not thinking on his part and not thinking on her part. She just does what Dad tells her to do when Dad tells her to do it. He said, hit it again, Bridge. Bam! And it kicked him right in the groin. It missed the family jewels because he was able to use those again, but it hit him right in the right. He's a big guy, bigger than me. At least, you don't outweigh me, but he's a lot stronger and a lot heftier and a lot more muscle mass. He got him right in the groin, right on the leg, the hip. And so his wife got a bandage and put arnica cream on it and put it over the hoof print, right where the impact was. And the next morning she looks at it and she's like, oh man, it didn't work, because the entire leg and the groin and pelvis and everything was like blue, red, green, yellow, orange, purple, black, just horridly, just orange, just ugly, just. So she very gently pulled the bandage off, and under where the hoof actually hit was perfectly, absolutely healed, pristine, white skin. So, pretty cool. All right. So that kit comes with a book. All their kits do. And this is a really neat homeopathy world, eBay. Little, just like a quick reference book. Boom, 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 headaches, sore throat, da-da-da-da-da-da. Very, very good. You can learn a lot just from that book. And then a really good book, one of the classics of the industry, and that is this one by Miranda Castro. She's one of the top homeopaths. So, and while it doesn't have color pictures, it does have pictures of the plants, black and white sketchings and whatnot. And so, and I would definitely get a book like this. The other one is called Homeopathic Man. I don't know. I'll tell you later. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I can't remember everything. Sorry. It's by, yeah, I don't remember the guy's name. Something. Yep. So, anyway, I want to cut this off because I don't want to lose it. Goodbye. Thank you. Bye. Hello and all that good stuff. And I'm going to do more here because I want to get some things done. I want to cover some theology, which is why I'm wearing the weird get up here. Bye.